Hey guys, the sun is rising. It's time to talk about our Mace build. I am a big fan of the Mace. If you watch my streams or anything, I run this weapon a lot. I run it primarily as a Mace and Reaper combo. I also like running Mace and Axes. I think both are really good. Main reason I run the secondary, and we'll talk about this in a bit, is because of the E ability here. But we're going to talk about the Mace, what I think works well with it, how to run it, and what abilities go super strong. And as I'm talking, I'm going to cut in some footage of some PvP fights that I've had to kind of break down what I'm talking about even more. You'll see those moments kind of hop in and out as I talk about, like, hey, this is why I talk about this, why I think this ability is good, and we kind of walk through everything. So first things first, this is the basic attack. A nice hefty 3-time swing before the reset. And then the Q is called Crushing Blow. You vault towards your cursor and slam your mace into the ground, dealing 110% physical damage and inflicting a 2-second fading snare. That snare is really nice. The damage is nice. And the nice thing, this is what it looks like. When it resets, I'll show you. You can also change direction mid-air. So there's a lot of outplay potential with this ability and a lot of kind of dynamic things you can do. You saw there, we started going this way. I moved the mouse and we kind of curved upwards. So it really helps with landing this consistently. And it's a great opener. If you were to dash in and then jump on them, it creates a lot of space, or leaving, or breaks a lot of space going in. The final ability on the Mace is called Smack. Smack enemies in front of you, dealing 50% physical damage, knock them back, and incapacitating them for 1.2 seconds. So this is what it looks like. You kind of leap forward like a little bit and then swing it out in a wide arc. And any enemy who is hit here will be knocked back a good amount, about like this far or so. So it's about that far, so they get knocked back and they're incapacitated. These are really good combos that you can kind of smack them back and then leap into them if you want, or vice versa. You can leap into them and then smack them away to create space for a combo. There's a lot of different ways you can pair this with abilities to make this really work. The next ability, or the first ability we're going to be talking about, is our dash. I really enjoy Veil of Frost with this combo. Since you're already doing so many aggressive plays with like the knock into like leaping into them, running Veil of Frost just makes a lot of sense because you get that shield for those aggressive plays, and your next primary attack deals 25% bonus damage, and you conjure a Nova of Frost, dealing 50% magic damage and inflicting chills on enemies nearby. So you can get really creative with this, where you can leap on people and then dash past them and then kind of play into that sculpted Nova of Frost is what it's called. Or you can kind of, dash past an enemy and then knock him into it. There's a lot of different ways you can play around that ice ability, and the shield it gives, I think, is really strong. To be able to have that little shield as you're engaging to block any initial reaction to the aggression. In terms of other dashes, the only other one I really like running with it would be Veil of Chaos. And that's just because, again, with playing around with this kind of high mobile build, you kind of dash in, jump here, dash back. Gives you a lot of different angles that you can like play around and really knock your enemies around to your advantage. So I definitely recommend one of those two in terms of which one is like the best for your build. But yeah. In terms of abilities I run with this, there's one that I think is mandatory to run with the Mace build, and that is Purgatory. You call down the Pillar of Energy that slows enemies, so slows, and then you have your snare from your Q. But slows enemies for 1 second, heals allies for 40% of your spell power. After 1.2 seconds, this pillar erupts in a powerful burst of energy, dealing 75% magic damage to your enemies and healing allies for 75% of your spell power. So this is what it looks like. You pop it down, it heals the first time, and it heals the second time. I like this a lot, because what you can do, I got to reset because of the 100% Scholar Blood, sorry. But one of the things I really enjoy doing is I like throwing it down on the enemy and then leaping into it. And what that does is it slows them when you call it down on them. And then when you land the Q, it's not cooldown, but when you land the Q, you then snare them. So they kind of get stuck in this thing where you can just combo them however you want. And that's kind of the beauty of this build, is really slowing and kind of snaring your opponents so that you can combo them and combo them with your teammates. So I think Purgatory is really great. I think it's, if you saw my top PvP abilities, I think Purgatory is in the top 5 best PvP abilities in the game right now, if not even top 3. So highly recommend running this either way, and it just pairs so nicely with the different plays that you can run with this build. You kind of slam in and then kind of knock him right into like your Purgatory and different things like that. It just allows you to keep engaging, and if you're running the Frost dash, then you get the shield on top of that. It just really allows you to stay max HP very well as you're just engaging over and over and playing super aggressive. In terms of the last ability, you have different options in terms of your playstyle. Right now, you see I have Chaos Volley on, mainly because I think Chaos Volley is like the meta kind of best DPS ability in this game. It's just raw damage. There's no real utility. You just have a burn and the initial hit, and it hits like a truck with 100% Scholar Blood. So I like running that because the Mace definitely doesn't have the best damage in the game. So having just like this high damage ability to run with it just makes life so much easier in terms of taking fights, and gives you a range option, which, as you can tell, we have no range options. And that's also why I like running a different ability or a different weapon oftentimes with the Mace, because the E is very situational with the smack, but running something like the Scythe or the Reaper, where I can run the Howling Reaper and throw it out, or the axes and throw it out, just gives you that range play. So that's the same thought process I have with Chaos Volley. In terms of other ones I think are also good, you can also run Ice Nova with the Purgatory if you're looking for that AoE, and you want another kind of frost ability to pair with your travel. I also think running Void is really good with this, just more AoE, kind of making them waste their movement and dodging out of Void for those combos of dashing in. So if I like run this and I pop Void and they dash this way, I can slam into them, knock them back right into another one, Purgatory down and dash in, and just keep fighting like that. It's a really simple and easy combo, and you can make your enemies waste their mobility and their dashes with Void, and if they don't, they get a nice chunk of damage dealt to them. So those are kind of the best 3 abilities I think running with it. There are some other things that you can do, like you can run some counters and shields depending on what you're facing, and what you're seeing a lot on your server. But I think, you know, Chaos Volley, Void, or maybe our Frost ability would fill that last spot the best. And then finally, in terms of ultimate, the best ultimate I think for this build is Arctic Leap. A lot of these clips I show, I lead with Arctic Leap, and the reason why I like that is because it allows you another form of engage with the Mace. And in my opinion, with the Mace, you're trying to play aggressive and fight right at front line and keep your health bar and aggression up to just keep knocking them, you know, snaring them, incapacitating them. So adding another frost element that if you land on them just sets you up for these easy combos. So I'm going to show here in a second. It just makes things really, really easy to kind of combo well with the Mace and keep that aggression up. So I'm a big fan of Arctic Leap. I think it pairs perfectly with the Mace's playstyle. But if you're looking for something else, I also think running Spectral Guardian or Summon Fallen Angel are the other 2 best options. So those are the best abilities I think that pair well with the Mace and the build I would focus around playing around it. In terms of blood, you have a few options. If you're looking to use the Mace more as setting up combos for your main abilities like your Purgatory and Chaos Volley, you can go Scholar. If you're looking at being a big brute in the front line, you could go full brute or full warrior. I think brute would be a little bit better in that situation just because you would get all those life steals. That also pairs well with running the mandatory Purgatory, so that would just help keep you alive as you're just being a menace at their face. Let me know what you guys think of my Mace build. I think it's really strong. I've been playing with this weapon probably the most out of any weapons, and I love it a lot. So curious what you guys think of my build, and let me know if you have any questions. Until next time.